If I was in an office, I don't know what I'd do. I'd be spoiled all the time, never get anything done, and I'd probably be out fishing or something instead of working.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Behind the Small Business Podcast. My name is Kevin Dandino. I'm here every time. I hope you're not sick of me. And if you are, I don't know why you're still coming back, but I'm glad you're here. We got another fantastic small business owner with us today. I'll introduce him here in a second. But first, remember, this is brought to you by Centennial State Insurance Agency. If you need or want a personal or business insurance quote, make sure you give us a call at 303-838-0554. Be more than happy to set you up, give you the best customer service that we possibly can provide, and make sure that you're properly protected and not paying out the wazoo for it as well. This is also an open invite to all small business owners. If you want to be on this podcast, come up here, share your story. No strings attached, nothing like that. Just get some free publicity. Let us know in the comments. Hit us up on Facebook or YouTube or whatever it is. Let us know you want to be on the podcast, and we'll reach out and get you that information. Enough of me talking, at least for here in a second. Gary Duncan, the owner of the Chip Repairman. Gary, how you doing today, good sir?
Doing well. How are you doing this morning?
Cannot complain. It's the end of the week here when we're recording this, and Fridays are always better than Mondays. So
Absolutely.
I love it. Well, hey man, let's get you going here. Tell us about who you are, what you're all about, what the Chip Repairman is about, and just start filling us in.
Well, as you said, I'm Gary Duncan. I've been in the auto glass replacement and repair business since 1987, so just a little bit. And more recently, we're delving off into just mainly chip repair. We still do some replacement, but mostly just chip repair. We moved back to Colorado. We were out for a while. We're in Highlands Ranch, so we service the whole metro area, but mainly we're down south and Castle Rock and north.
Okay, nice, man.
Yeah.
So has this company, the Chip Repairman, been around this whole time that you've been doing this, or how long have you been an actual small business owner?
I've been a small business owner since 2004.
Okay.
I owned a company called Rocky Mountain Auto Glass.
Okay.
And then for 3 years, we actually lived in a small town in Missouri, and we had another glass company. But we were missing the family and my mother-in-law and our grandkids and our children. So back we came and settled in Highlands Ranch. Yeah.
Okay. Well, so you're definitely someone who isn't just a successful business owner, but you've gone through this several times, and in different locations as well. And I think that opens up a lot of experiences that I'd like to kind of pick your brain on to kind of share to aspiring business owners, existing business owners, and kind of just help them out that way. And so for you, kind of, walk me through what made you want to be a small business owner to begin with. I know everybody has, their own unique reasons and whatnot, but it's always fun to hear.
Well, as I said, I started in 87. I started with a very large national company. And in the early 90s, I moved to a very well-known Colorado company, and I ended up being one of their managers for several years. And I don't know, in the early 2000s, we just kind of kicked around the idea for a while of doing our own thing. And why not? Why not, have the hours that I want and the money that I want? And so in 2004, exactly 10 years after I joined the other company, I left and we started Rocky Mountain Auto Glass. And we did pretty well over the years. I was able to spend family time, which was real important when our kids were small, do all all the soccer games and dance recitals and, everything else that you normally miss because you're working. That worked out. And at the same time, give personal service to my customers that became very loyal to us.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. I think when you involve, hey, to be around family, because one of the common answers is, well, I just want to be my own boss, and that's a perfectly fine reason, and I can get behind that all day long. But there's just all these other little things, that really do help out. And I think where I'm approaching this from is the mindset or maybe viewpoint of a aspiring business owner. And I'll be honest, the way you said you kind of just decided to do it and you went and did it, it seems, I don't know, for me to be in that situation, it would be very intimidating. And I think for a lot of people who are maybe on the fence about wanting to be a business owner, there's a lot of things to really take into account and consider. So what kind of was your process in finally making that decision to, you know what, I'm going to do this. I'm going to, I get what the risks are and what I'm going to be up against, but here's my plan and how I'm going to go about doing this, and what pushed you over the edge.
Well, I can be honest with you. My planning wasn't as up to par as it should have been. Looking back, a lot of things I should have considered a little bit more, but we learned as we went. Um, Mainly, when I would talk to my boss about taking time off for vacations or getting off early to go, to a dance recital. We only had one child at the time, or we had one child doing things at the time. The other two were quite little. Um, he would give me a hard time. Well, you're the manager and you work the whole day. You don't get time off, and
Mhm.
vacations they gave us a hard time about. So my wife and I just decided, why not? Let's just do it. I
Yeah.
jumped ship, bought a van, and flew by the seat of my pants, to
Just
be
go
quite
for it.
honest with you.
For sure.
Uh,
But you made it
but I
work.
think,
Yeah.
yeah, we made it work. I mean, it's not we're not by any means global and that kind of successful, but
Right.
we've done well. And since we're come back, I've, like I said, I'm getting older, so I don't want to do as much of the physical as I did before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the windshields are heavy and it's a lot of work,
Mhm.
but chip repair and crack repair is a natural segue to, it was incorporated in our business anyway. So,
Yeah.
uh,
Oh,
and now, to
absolutely.
be honest with you, the windshields with the cameras in them and the lane departures warning systems and everything, they're expensive. They're $700 to $2,000, quite a few of them. So,
Mhm.
paying $100 to 150 for a crack repair is much more cost effective for most customers, and they seem to like that.
Yeah, man. I think it's funny you're talking about chip repair. I'm gonna get into you're talking about the manual labor of it all and kind of what you do as the owner and how active you get. But you know, all the business owners I've had on kind of talk about the COVID era, right? And how that's impacted people. But I would think that windshield chips were still a thing during the COVID era. So,
Well, yeah.
did you experience any kind of hardships from that, or any lessons learned out of that time period? Now that we're several years removed.
Well, actually, during the COVID era, we were still in Colorado. We lived up in Milliken, and
Mhm.
at least for the first round, where everybody had to go home for work, we got busier than heck. A customer would say, "Well, as long as you're coming out to the house, do 2 or 3 windshields."
Right.
And we really a lot. I understand a lot of businesses went down, but we picked up. It was almost
There you
busier
go.
than I could handle for a little while.
Really?
Um, yeah,
Huh.
I toyed with hiring somebody, but there's always the additional headaches in that, and you worrying about someone else's family. So,
Mm.
uh, as I say, we got almost busy enough. I needed help, but not quite. I was able to handle it. So we pursued through it and pushed through, and we did pretty well. And
Good.
one time I just got this harebrained idea. Someone was selling a glass business in Northwest Missouri in this small,
Mhm.
quaint, cute little town, and we've always lived here our entire life, so we just up and moved. And
Yeah.
for good or
Yeah.
bad, it was an experience for 3 years.
For sure. Well, it's good to get somewhere new and experience something different. Different people, different food, different history, all that stuff. So,
And it gives you
um,
perspective on where you've been. So,
it does. It
and
does.
obviously we're
Yeah.
back, so we love
Yep.
Colorado. Yeah.
No, I'm the same way. Being in the Air Force for 9 years and stationed down in the South the whole time. Yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
it was great. I just the weather, I couldn't do it. I had to get back home. I was like, I need
Oh
all
yeah,
4 seasons, at least the Colorado seasons. Like,
yeah. We get all
but
4 of them
yeah,
the same week sometimes.
yeah. Yeah, sometimes we do, and it makes things interesting. It's not
Yes,
just
it does.
hot and then less hot.
Right. Yeah, and then
Oh
Missouri
man.
with that humidity, cold is a different
Mhm.
animal out there than it is here.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure. I wouldn't want to experience that, but I also say I want to like go to Alaska and places like that. So I don't know what. Anyway, off topic. But it's just interesting to hear what people have gone through when it comes to COVID stuff. That was such a unique time period. But
Yeah,
here
yeah,
we are on the backside and everything. And I kind of want to hear about, what your approach is as a business owner. It sounds like for a while there you were still pretty hands-on. I know some business owners kind of maybe let their, or just become more of an office body, right? And that there's nothing wrong with that too, to a certain
right.
degree. But so what's your approach when it comes to being an owner, managing people, the people on your team, and all that stuff?
Well, as of this point, like I said, we're only a month or so into it with the new business. So I don't have a staff yet, so I'm doing everything.
Mhm.
Um,
Okay.
I do like doing the mechanical end of it. That's where I thrive.
Mm.
If I was in an office, I don't know what I'd do. I'd be squirreled all the time, never get anything done, and I'd probably be out fishing or something instead of working. So I like getting out, meeting the customers, taking care of business, and if we grow it bigger, perhaps I pay somebody to do that.
Yeah,
And we'll have a couple technicians out actually doing the work, and someone in the office that doesn't mind that.
for sure.
Yeah, I like to interface with the customers, and it brings me satisfaction when I do some work and they're pleased with it.
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah,
think it's something that a lot of well, and I don't want to say a lot of business owners, but it could be considered common that business owners start to just not get that face to face interaction like you're talking about with their
right.
clientele. And you become a little disconnected at some point, right? You can ask your employees how things are going on out there. Maybe have a bunch of employees that just to kind of keep the peace or to just keep things simple. Be like, yeah, we got it, it's handled, it's fine. But then you go out there and it's really not,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
But I think it's just really important, especially in this age of technology. We had a whole the guy I talked to on the last episode of the podcast, a huge conversation about making sure that you're staying interactive with people on a face-to-face scale, right? Marketing and Facebook and social media and all these things are great and all well and good, but to be able to stay consistent in seeing your clientele and seeing if you have employees, seeing them on a daily basis
Correct.
is what I think is a huge factor when it comes to success, because you just know what you have a more in-depth idea of what's actually going on within your business there.
Yes, that's correct. And I like to be the face of the business. So whether it's with the employees, like you said, or if it's customers, I like to be out, shaking hands and kissing babies, as they say. And uh, you know, I want people to think of me when they need this kind of work done. Rather than calling the
Yeah.
big national companies or any of that. We can
Right.
handle it, and we're local, and we do care.
Mhm.
Where
No, I think
whereas
that's
a lot of
great.
times it's just a job for people.
Right. I think it's exactly where, if more people had that approach, especially early on, um, the failure rates, if you want to call them that, or closing rates of new businesses in the first however many years is pretty high there. And I think people get so bogged down with the budgeting and the marketing and the this and that, they just lose perspective. And so for you to be one of the people that I just, again, this is a message I want to push to anybody who is a business owner and maybe recognizing, hey, I've been in the office all day today, maybe I should go take a step outside and see what's
Right.
going on. Right, here's your daily reminder, here's another person, it's not just me saying the same thing, saying this is a really good idea. It's not just good for you as a person, it's good for your company and everything that you're working for. So um and I think it's just a really great mindset to be in, and way to go about doing things. So, now when it comes to marketing and stuff like that, I do want to ask you, like, what is your approach and what are some of the tools and methods you use? And I kind of want to ask, have you considered or dabbled at all in any of the AI kind of tools that are out there?
I haven't personally, but I'm very curious about it. So it's something that I'm going to be investigating here soon. Currently, we're social media. We're going to get probably a website up. Although, to be honest with you, in the auto glass business, over my career, I haven't found that a lot of people even ever go to the website. They simply
want the number.
Google you and click call.
Yeah.
So we'll see about that. I'm definitely going to get a Google placement or a Google ad up here probably next week or so.
Okay.
AI interests me. I don't know what to do with it. I'm going to have to talk to somebody that's a little more in depth with it and knows what they're talking about.
Yeah. So the reason I brought up AI, we had a guest on a couple days or a couple episodes ago that really focused on his job was helping small businesses, particularly small gyms, with AI, and kind of really finding different ways to leverage that. And I just think it's interesting to see where all these different companies are going towards. Every company is different, it provides different services and different mottos and whatnot. So it's like, how are we going to go about doing that? Because I think it needs to become one of those conversations, and I'm not a techie guy, right? But I think what we're seeing going on here is this could be something where if somebody is saying, I'm not going to even think about that, it could be 5 years from now and you are way behind the power curve and could be in a lot of, hurt because of it. So I'm just kind of trying to get a gauge, right, of where people are standing on this. And, you're saying, yeah, it's something I'm going to start looking into. And so it's going to be interesting to, kind of see what you end up finding and doing with that.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. It's a little intimidating for me because I'm also not very techie. But you see the trends and the way things going. It's kind of like the tooling and in the auto glass business. I've been doing it a long time, and there's plenty of us out there. A lot of them won't adapt. They don't embrace the new tools, the new way of doing things. And be quite frank, they get left behind. And I've always been, I'm very interested in the new stuff. It's interesting. Makes my job easier, makes me more relevant. Yeah. And, there's not a whole lot of new technology in the chip repair business, but whenever it does come along, I'm on top of it. We do not only the little star breaks and that kind of thing, but we can do up to a 14-inch crack if we need to.
Okay.
Yeah. Which, if you're the customer looking at a $800 windshield and you can get away with saving it for a couple more years for $150, that's the way to go.
Right. No, I never even really thought about, like what's the extent, like, I guess I've thankfully never had a crack large enough to consider that, just the little chips and whatnot. But it's interesting. So I'm kind of curious, like, where does your passion for this come from? Like what drives, or like, you're just like, this is my calling. And that's great to see. I love it. Right. Like, this is the business I'm doing. This is the stuff I'm doing. And it's great. So, just kind of also hearing from business owners, like what makes them passionate about what they're doing is just a fun thing to hear about.
Well, I don't know that I've ever had a calling. Got out of high school at 8, I was around 18 and an uncle of mine was a big shot at a national company and asked me if I wanted a job in the auto glass business. So it paid, for the 80s, it paid fairly well and I did it and it had benefits and I'm mechanical. So it was natural for me and I became good at it. I also like management. So I moved up in the ranks rather quickly and I just really like fixing people's vehicles, windshield. Most people don't know this, but a windshield nowadays is a structural part of your car. And anytime it is, so it'll in a rollover, it'll help keep the roof up. There have been instances where people have died because of improper installation and the roof came down and taken their life. Also, your airbag on the passenger side on most vehicles deploys off of the glass. So it's got to be in there correctly. And it's anytime there's a crack or a chip in your windshield, it weakens, takes some of the strength away and the integrity of the glass. So just the chip repairs themselves strengthen the glass back to what they need to be for rollover strength and airbag deployment. So for me, educating people, that's one thing. There's a lot of people have no idea they're driving around with cracked windows.
You just educated one guy today,
Right.
and he's sitting right here.
Hopefully a whole bunch of people now.
Yeah, hopefully more too, as they listen to
Yeah.
this. But no, it makes me remind myself that hey, I do have a little crack, that maybe I
Yeah.
do want to go get fixed sooner rather than like next week or the week after. Or, yeah,
Maybe I come down and physically meet you.
yeah, yeah, and I'll give you a call, man, and get that
Yeah,
checked out.
that'd be awesome.
But that's fascinating. I had no idea the windshields were that integral
Yes.
to the car structure, and it's one of those things. It's if you want to kind of tie it to insurance too, right? Like you think about like, I'll be fine. I'll be fine. I don't need it. Like, all right, it doesn't really matter if it's not the best, or there's cracks or this policy isn't the best, right? But I
Right.
have the insurance. I'm good to go. And then something happens.
Yes.
And then you wish you had spent a little more time or effort or whatever to make sure that everything was set up properly. So I'm going to
Yeah.
tie what you just said to the insurance thing a little bit there, but I think it makes perfect sense, right? Like, if you understand what the windshield is really truly doing for your car and if part of the safety system, if you will, like, hey, make sure that's taken care of.
Yeah, and you're a good analogy with the insurance. You know, if you have, excuse my French, crappy insurance, when
Yeah.
you need it,
No,
you're
yeah.
out of luck. And we can
No.
attest to that. While in Missouri, we got hit by a tornado and
Oof.
hit our house. So we had good insurance, and they took really good care of us. And
Yeah.
what we kind of thought is if we'd have went with the basement bargain guy,
Mm-hmm.
we
Yeah.
might have been up a creek.
Yeah,
Yeah,
one of those, "Hey, call us and you'll have a quote in 5 minutes."
right.
Hmm, uh,
Yeah, yeah.
maybe don't go that route. Just
Maybe
saying.
don't
Yeah. Yeah,
be
while we're at it,
educated before you make your decision.
let's just go put plastic wrap up as my windshield. It'll be the same thing, right? It's the same thing
Oh
as the
man,
5-minute
you wouldn't
insurance
believe some
quote.
of the things I see.
Oh, I don't wanna know.
And it's not a
Oh, man.
regulated industry, so there are lots of
Mhm.
technicians that go out there and they're doing it horribly wrong. And as a customer, you
Yeah.
don't really know.
Well, let's talk about that because that's intriguing to me too. Like, I would think when it comes to something that is part of a structural integrity of the car, right? Because those things would be somewhat regulated to some degree to prevent those failures, right? So, is that something that is in your world, like you're hearing that it's eventually going to be regulated, or is the reason why it's not right now? But
I'm
obviously
not
people need to
entirely
find somebody who knows what they're doing.
well, right. And I'm not entirely sure why it's not been regulated. They've been talking about it for decades. Um,
Okay.
for some reason, it simply never gets pushed through. Our industry has been kind of the uh, redheaded stepchild of the mechanic world, and
Hmm.
not taken as seriously. But until there's an accident that it pops out and somebody dies or is injured pretty badly,
Right.
and I just don't understand the thinking and doing it fast and not correctly. You
Yeah.
know, or
Interesting.
a lot of it's driven by price too. A customer would rather do a windshield with one of the gentlemen that are doing it for $50 over his cost rather than someone
Mhm.
who's paying,
Yep.
has a legit company and takes, gets all the certifications like myself. I've been certified for, well, well, 38 years
Okay.
in what I do.
Yeah.
Um, that even comes down to the chip repair. A lot of people go up and put a little of the resin in it, but it doesn't spread to every crack
Hmm.
in the brake, but they leave and charge you for it, and then before you know it, it
Yeah.
cracks out again.
Right.
But you've saved
It's
money.
well, it's kind of interesting, and I'm not trying to like downplay what you do or anything, but I think just
Right,
from if you were to ask me beforehand, like, how complicated do you think this is? I'd probably say something like, well, obviously there's some training that goes into it, right? But they put the dab on, like it doesn't seem like
right,
it's that crazy. So, and the reason I say that is because I think that makes it easy for somebody just to see somebody set up on the side of the road, saying, hey, we'll fix your chips or what in your windshield or whatnot, and we can take insurance. They go, oh, cool, I'm already out anyway. Let me just go do that. But they don't know who that person is.
Right.
I've done it before. I don't ask, hey, are you trained? Right.
Right.
So I
And
think
some
it's
of
just
them are
like,
very legit, but there
sure,
are
no,
others
of course they are. Yeah.
and some of them have, they got into it yesterday and bought a kit online and off Amazon.
Yeah.
You
Yeah. And
know,
that's the thing is like, I don't know. Right. And
right.
so I
How would
think
you?
if we understand the importance of the windshield to the car now, like I just do, right, I'm going to take this a little more seriously now.
Right. Yeah. And that's usually the attitude I get once I've had a chance to talk to somebody.
Hmm. Interesting. Well, it's working. I'm demonstrating here. We did not plan this before the show, guys. Just
Right.
everyone knows. Like this is organic.
Right.
I am learning.
Oh,
So this is
good.
good, man. This is really good. Hey, I know we're getting close to the end here, so I definitely want to provide you an opportunity to once again let people know how they can find you. Any other information that you want them to know about you, and just get some business flowing your way, man.
All right. Well, like I said, we're located in Highlands Ranch, but I do mobile service. So we come pretty much, anywhere in the metro area, North metro area, depending. Um, we can do several on one car. We can come out and do chip repairs on several cars for you. And I can also do cracks. Um, I don't know, up to 14, 16 inches, we can take care of a crack usually.
Okay.
Save you a little money. And I use top notch resins and the tools I use. And not to mention, I've been trained. I've been certified by Delta Kits, which is one of the top brands since
Okay.
1987 or 88. I
Nice.
get continuous training every year or so. And
Perfect.
as of yet, we don't accept insurance claims, but we're heading that direction.
Okay.
Most of my customers simply just pay me and they take their receipt and get reimbursed. The insurance companies are pretty good about that, actually.
Sure.
Yeah, so we've got that. We can handle fleets, whatever you need. We're happy to do it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Awesome.
and like I said, it's a structural part of the vehicle, so you want it to function correctly.
Yeah.
You've got your kids riding in there and your spouses, and if that
Mhm.
airbag doesn't deploy correctly, or there's several things that can go wrong. So you want to start with
Yeah.
getting the little damage taken care of, and if necessary, we can either take care of you on a replacement, or we can guide you to someone that's trustworthy.
There you go. I like it,
Yeah.
man. No, I think it's well, I appreciate first off just you spending the time to come on the show and talk to me about this. I think it's fascinating, right? I like learning about some of these more uncommon things, right? Like I don't think people really think about windshield chip repair and stuff like that. But once I start hearing about some of these, I'm like, oh, that's I've never thought about it that way. I didn't know that. So, I definitely appreciate the insight, kind of educating me and our listeners to, it's not just about fixing a chip to make sure it lasts longer. It's about, your protection
Right.
and,
Yeah.
treat it like you would your insurance, and hopefully you treat your insurance well too. And if not, then give us a call at Centennial State Insurance Agency.
Absolutely.
um, but Gary, yeah, they can reach you. It looks like 303-901-8226, or they can look you up on Facebook, the Chip Repair Man. So if you're a listener, make sure you spread the word. Let other people know. If you see somebody with a chip in their windshield, he's holding the card right there. If you know somebody who needs a repair in their windshield, let them know about Gary right here. Send them the information and get somebody out there who knows what they're doing. So Gary, I appreciate you're staying on top of it all.
Well, thank you for your time. I appreciate being on the show.
Of course, anytime. Hey, for everybody else out there, again, thank you for tuning in for another episode. We'll be back next time with another fantastic small business owner. But remember, this is an open invitation to all the small business owners out there. If you want to come up, share your story, talk about your business, get your contact information out there for free, no strings attached. Let us know. We'd be more than happy to have you on a future episode. And of course, this is brought to you by Centennial State Insurance Agency. So if you're looking for a personal or business insurance quote, give us a call today, 303-838-0554. It's Gary. It's been a blast. We'll try to have you on another time down the line, see how things are going with your new business as it grows and expands. Okay.
Sounds good. And I'll come down and take care of that chip on your glass for you.
I'll get in touch with you, man, for sure.
All right, brother. Have a good day.
Okay, everyone. Yep. You have a good day as well. And everyone take care. We'll see you next time when we peel back the curtain and take a look behind another small business. We'll see you later.